Good morning, YouTube. This is Sean Sandridge coming with you with another Jumpstart January 2016 video. So please thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend about me. So we are still continuing Newsweek, and it's an article that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to be looking off to the side because that is where my computer is. And I got this from the Times, our local newspaper, NWI Times. And one of the front page articles is about military suicide. And it says military suicides remain high. I'm not going to read the whole article, but I am going to touch on some points. And it says here that the total for 2015 likely to exceed the 443 military suicides of 2014. And it says here that 70 troops in the reserve forces and National Guard, primarily the Army, took their own lives between January 1st and September 30th, according to the U.S. Department of Defense, a report released this month. It says that's the highest number of reservist suicides in any quarter since the Pentagon began keeping detailed records in 2013, and just 21 fewer reservist suicides than the entire first half of 2015. Another 72 active duty members of the Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, and Navy took their own lives during the summer, according to the report. And that was one more active duty suicide than the April-June period, and slightly above the average since 2012 of 70 active duty suicides each quarter. While service member suicide numbers for the final 3 months of 2015 are still being compiled, federal data show 363 active duty and reserve troops took their own lives through the first 9 months of the year. Since 2012, the United States have never recorded fewer than 100 military suicides in a quarter, making it likely the 2015 total will surpass the 443 service member suicide tallied in 2014. And that it will also be the 4th year in a row that military suicides have exceeded combat deaths. That is a staggering number of lives lost. And it hits home to me because I am a retired Air Force senior non-commissioned officer, or what is otherwise known as senior NCO. I spent 23 years in the military. I joined in November of '97 and I retired in December of 2005. So I've been retired for quite some time. Every year as a military member, we would get a suicide prevention lecture. And just going back from my own remembrance, that suicide rated as number 3 in the list of deaths. And as you can see from the statistics that I read to you, that suicide is exceeding combat deaths. This is a serious matter. And it's a serious matter because, especially as being a reservist, there are unique situations that plague a reservist compared to an active duty member. So I spent 23 years in the Air Force. I spent the first 10 years in active duty, and then I left active duty and went seamlessly into the reserves, where I spent the last 13 years and retired in 2005. And it just so happened last year, I did not know him personally, but it was someone in our circle of people. He committed suicide, and what was devastating about it is that they had dinner with him, but he went home that evening and committed suicide. The reservists in general, and I can only speak by my own experience being a reservist, there are unique challenges being a reservist. For one, even though we're told it's 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out a year, that was not my specific experience because I was in charge of a big program and we were not heavily manned, so I did not have the manpower. So a lot of times I spent more than 1 weekend. I spent quite a bit of my summers doing my job, which I have no regrets on doing. But we are used to doing less, working more with less. So that is a unique challenge. And we are weekend warriors. We are civilians that step into the military uniform. It is not our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job as an active duty member would have. And the resources as far as mental health resources are not the same as a reservist as an active duty member. A lot of reservists want to still continue with their military service and have that military pride in serving, but don't necessarily get the military benefits as reservists, because if things don't happen while you are on duty at that time, which is either during a TDY, temporary duty assignment, or if you are on reserve duty doing your annual tour or just your weekend, you're not going to necessarily get some medical services that you may need. I have been in the military starting from Desert Storm and all the other conflicts, and I can tell you from my time going to other bases and seeing, because I worked in the military clinic, that there are a lot of casualties being reservists, doing the job, working side by side, active duty, being deployed, the stress of not knowing necessarily you're going to have your job when you get back, even though you are protected by not losing your job. That doesn't mean that you may not get the same exact job when you get back. Up until a few years back, many reservists who were civilian employees didn't have have a medical plan in their job. And so the stress of trying to be deployable was very difficult. It wasn't until maybe 8 years back that we were actually given the option of getting dental. And as a reservist, if you're not worldwide qualified, you could be in a situation where you can't even get deployed, which is also helping you advance your career, which is also getting military pay for a lot of people, depending on where they live. That added employment is extremely important. So suicide, whether it is a civilian or a military person, is always devastating. It has a ripple effect among friends and family. And as a unit, it can be a horrible morale situation, because military units are second family. And to not know that someone is going through something so difficult that they would want to take their lives really works into the minds and the spirit of all the military people that they interacted with. And so my hope is that if you have a military person, that you talk to them, let them know that they can reach out to you even if you aren't a military person, because a lot of times, especially depending on your job, even though it is always said you can get help and reach out for help, we're trained for war and we're trained for dealing with things that are highly under pressure, and how to remain calm and how to be focused. And when you feel like your mind has betrayed you and your emotions have betrayed you, it can be very difficult to reach out. And especially if you hold some kind of security clearance or some kind of high ranking position, it can be extremely difficult. Even if it means having somebody talk to, if they have a religious affiliation, to talk to their pastor or their priest or whoever they trust. I don't have the answers, but it really makes me sad that I know that my military comrades are hurting, and that most of us know someone who's been in the military. So I just wanted to just spread a little bit of awareness that it is an issue. And again, I'm just going by when I was in that suicide ranks as number 3. And with women, it's even doubly hard because women are not treated the same way in services as men are, and that's always a difficulty. A lot of women deal with their husbands wanting to divorce them when they are deployed, and again, the resources for women that are dealing with mental health issues are not as prevalent as the male counterparts. So I looked up U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs and dealing with suicides, and there is a veteran crisis hotline. You can call 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 and send a text message to 838-255. You can chat online. Evidently, the data through the third quarter of 2015 says since its launch in 2007, the Veteran Crisis Line has answered nearly 2 million calls and initiated the dispatch of emergency services to callers in crisis over 53,000 times. And added in 2009, it has engaged in more than 250,000 chats. So there are resources, and please reach out to someone if you're a family member and you're not sure about your military family member. You can dial 1-800-273-8255 and press 1 to talk to someone. You can visit the website militarycrisisline.net if you are an active duty, reserve, or guard member. And there's some resources on this website, U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. If you want to find out more information and resources and how you can help your community. So this is the end of Newsweek, Jumpstart January 2016. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. Take care of yourself and each other. Talk to you soon. Bye.